Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm bringing you a deep dive video about Hazal Kaya and Çağatay Ulusoy. All the details are here. If you enjoy the video, please hit like and subscribe, and you can support me further by clicking the join button below. Thank you, and let's get into it. There are celebrity friendships that stay quietly in the background, and then there are partnerships that never really leave the public eye. Hazal Kaya and Çağatay Ulusoy fall into the second category. From early in their careers, the pair built a screen chemistry that audiences still reference years later. That shared history is exactly why any small interaction between them, an interview snippet, a backstage photo, or a simple birthday comment, can snowball into headlines. And when the conversation turns to jealousy rumors and strained ties, the noise gets even louder. Let's start with the foundation. Both Hazal and Çağatay came of age professionally in the same TV universe, learned the rhythm of set life side by side, and developed an ease that's rare in an industry built on constant change. That ease looks like shorthand, half a sentence that the other instantly understands, a quick nod in a crowded hallway, trust that the other will catch a tough scene when the timing has to be precise. Years later, that familiarity still shows through when they cross paths. Fans see it and call it chemistry, colleagues see it and call it comfort. Now, here's where perception gets tricky. As both stars moved into different phases of life and career, the public kept them linked, sometimes romantically, often nostalgically, and almost always through the lens of that early magic. At the same time, Hazal's marriage to Ali Atay brought a new player into the story the tabloids wanted to tell. The narrative you've all seen by now goes something like this. A long, close friendship between Hazal and Çağatay, a separate, committed marriage to Ali, and the media trying to draw a triangle where the people involved are trying to keep a straight line. What actually happened? The most accurate answer is boring and very human, nothing scandalous, lots of speculation, and a handful of moments that looked bigger than they were because of who was in the frame. For example, a friendly comment on a throwback post turns into a thread about signals. A photo from a mutual friend's gathering becomes proof of tension because two people aren't in the same shot. A short, polite exchange at a festival is reframed as a confrontation simply because the camera catches a serious expression. The reality, say people who've worked with all three, is that Hazal and Çağatay retained a professional, warm friendship, while Hazal and Ali maintained their own boundaries around public and private life. So why did the jealousy rumor gain so much traction? Partly because it had ingredients the tabloids love, a beloved on-screen duo, a protective husband with his own successful career, and social media, where every like, caption, and timing choice becomes a clue. A few specific flashpoints didn't help. A night where seating arrangements at a charity gala put Hazal and Çağatay at the same table for a short time, a clip where Ali appears to leave an event earlier than expected. A set of near-identical captions posted hours apart that fans read as coded messages. Each isolated moment meant little. Stitched together by people hunting for a plot, they looked like a story. Let's slow that down. The gala? The event was a dense mix of industry figures, and seating changed twice as last-minute guests arrived. Hazal greeted former colleagues, posed for a few group photos, and returned to her seat. The early exit? Ali had a call time the next morning. The captions? Two professional actors sharing gratitude during a campaign week where half the industry was posting similar lines. In other words, normal life under abnormal magnification. There's another, quieter layer to all this, respectful boundaries. Friends from those circles describe an understanding among all parties that professional histories don't need to be erased just because personal lives evolve. That means a baseline of courtesy, clear lines about what is and isn't for public consumption, and a mutual agreement not to feed the rumor machine. It's not dramatic, but it's effective, especially when you've already learned how quickly a narrative can outrun the truth. Still, pressure built. The height of the chatter came just before 2020, when a swirl of comments, fan edits, and gossip posts framed the situation as a crisis. The word sounds theatrical. What happened instead was practical, a reset. People close to the trio describe a period of deliberate cooling off in public. Less overlap at events, fewer opportunities for the same photo to be read 12 different ways, and a decision to let time, not press statements, close the subject. By mid-2020, that approach had worked. The temperature dropped. Headlines moved on. When asked, the consistent message was simple: everyone focuses on their own work, and the friendship stays in its lane. That 2020 reset matters, because it marked a shift in how the audience engaged with them. Before that point, fans often demanded a definitive label. Are they close? Are they distant? Did something happen? After the reset, the more thoughtful voices in the conversation began emphasizing a healthier line: celebrate the art, stop assigning motives, and allow adults to manage their own relationships. It's not that curiosity disappeared, it matured. People learned to distinguish between what was public, projects, appearances, interviews, and what was never going to be public, no matter how loudly anyone asked. Of course, social media never entirely quiets down. From time to time there are still spikes: a nostalgic series anniversary, a journalist's question that leans a little too hard on the past, a brand campaign that pairs old colleagues in a montage. When that happens, comparisons resurface, and with them, echoes of the jealousy narrative. The difference now is the response. You see measured professionalism, not reactive posts. You see a wife and husband who choose not to dignify speculation with answers. You see a long-standing friendship that shows up in small, neutral ways: congratulations on a release, polite applause at a premiere, and then recedes. That's how grown-ups do it. If there's a lesson here, it's about how fame distorts scale. A quick message between people who once spent months on the same set can look monumental when millions are watching for subtext. A single photo can carry a decade of fan expectations, whether or not it deserves that weight. And a marriage that functions best with privacy can feel to outsiders like something to solve, when there's nothing to solve at all. It's also about how the industry changes. Today's stars know they're not just acting on camera, they're acting under a microscope when they're off it. That requires new skills: boundary management, narrative control without overexposure, and the maturity to let a false story burn itself out. Hazal, Ali, and Çağatay have all shown versions of that skill set. Hazal focuses on work and family, engages publicly when there's a project to support, and otherwise avoids fueling speculation. Ali interacts with colleagues on his terms and keeps his private life properly private. Çağatay, too, leans on the work, shows up when it matters, and lets fans have their nostalgia without turning it into a headline. So where does that leave the relationship between Hazal Kaya and Çağatay Ulusoy today? In a stable, realistic place. Respectful, professional, and resilient to noise. The jealousy storyline may flare up whenever an old clip resurfaces, but the actual dynamic, friendly, bounded, unremarkable in the healthiest way, has been steady for years. And the crisis that tabloids once pitched? It effectively ended with that 2020 reset, which allowed everyone to breathe, recalibrate, and move on without making a spectacle of it. If you're a fan who fell in love with their early work, you don't have to erase your nostalgia to be fair to the present. You can appreciate what Hazal and Çağatay built on screen, wish them both well in their current paths, and refuse the impulse to invent drama around a marriage that speaks for itself and a friendship that knows its boundaries. That balanced view honors the people behind the headlines far more than any theory ever could. Tell me what you think in the comments. Do you see this story as a reminder to separate fiction from real life? Which moments from their early careers still hold up for you today? And would you be interested in a future project that reunites them purely as colleagues, with the boundaries and clarity they've earned? Thank you so much for watching my video. See you in the next one. Take care and goodbye.